Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of English Daily Practice. I'm your host, Alex.
And I'm Lana. Hi, everyone. We are so happy to have you here with us today.
Today, we have a very useful topic. It is a topic that everyone talks about, whether you are meeting someone for the first time or catching up with an old friend. This topic always comes up.
That's right, Alex. Today, we are talking about jobs. We are going to talk about work, careers, and how to describe what you do every day.
This is perfect for our listeners who are at an A2 or B1 level. We want to give you the vocabulary you need to answer the question, what do you do?
Exactly. What do you do is probably the most common question in the English language after how are you?
So, Lana, let's start right there. When someone asks, what do you do? They are asking about your job. They aren't asking what you are doing right now at this second. They mean, what is your profession?
Yes, and there are a few ways to answer this. The most simple way is to say, I am a, followed by your job title. For example, I am a teacher or I am a doctor.
Or, I am a student. But as you get better at English, you might want to be more specific. You can use the phrase, I work as a,
Right. I work as a manager or I work as an engineer. It means the same thing, but it sounds a little more formal and professional.
Let's talk about prepositions, Lana. This is where many English learners make small mistakes. When we talk about our jobs, we use the words in, for, and at. Can you explain the difference?
Sure. This is very important. First, let's look at work for. We usually use work for with the name of the company.
Okay, so I could say I work for Google or I work for Amazon.
Exactly. You are telling us the name of your employer.
What about work in?
We use work in for a place or a general field or industry. For example, regarding a place, you can say, I work in a hospital or I work in an office.
And for a field or industry.
You could say, I work in marketing, I work in education, or I work in finance. You aren't saying the company name, just the type of work.
That is very helpful. So, if I am a teacher, I can say I work for New York University, the company, or I work in a university, the place, or I work in education, the industry.
You got it, Alex. It gives you three different ways to describe your life.
Okay, let's move on to the type of employment. Not everyone works from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday.
That's true. The standard office job is usually called a 9 to 5 job, but many people have different schedules.
Let's talk about full-time versus part-time.
A full-time job usually means you work about 35 to 40 hours a week. In many countries, this is the standard. If you work full-time, you usually get benefits like health insurance or paid holidays.
And part-time?
Part-time is anything less than that. Maybe you work 15 hours a week or 20 hours. Students often work part-time jobs while they're studying.
I remember when I was a student, I worked part-time in a coffee shop. It was hard work, but it was good for practicing my communication skills.
Working in a coffee shop is a great experience. That brings us to another word, shift work.
Ah, yes, shift work. This is common for doctors, nurses, police officers, and factory workers. It means the day is divided into different time blocks or shifts.
Yes, you might have the morning shift, the afternoon shift, or the night shift.
The night shift can be very difficult. Sleeping during the day and working at night is hard on your body.
Definitely. I prefer working during the day, but some people like the night because it is quieter.
Now, in the last few years, the way we work has changed a lot. We have a new vocabulary word that is very popular now, remote work.
Oh, yes, remote work or working from home. This means you don't go to an office building. You stay at your house and you use your computer and internet to do your job.
Do you like working remotely, Lana?
I think it has pros and cons. The pros are the good things and the cons are the bad things.
What is a pro of remote work?
The biggest pro is no commute.
Commute. That is a great B1 word. Can you define it?
To commute means to travel from your home to your work. For some people, their commute is a 10-minute walk. For others, it is a 1-hour drive in heavy traffic.
I hate traffic. So, working remotely saves time because you don't have to commute.
Exactly. But the con or the bad thing is that you can feel lonely. You don't see your colleagues face to face. You don't have coffee breaks with your friends at the office.
That is true. Sometimes it is nice to be in an office environment. There is also something called hybrid work.
Hybrid is a mix. Maybe you go to the office 2 days a week and you work from home 3 days a week. Many companies are doing this now.
I think hybrid is the best balance. You get to see people, but you also get to stay home sometimes.
I agree. Okay, Alex, let's imagine we're at a party. We're meeting for the first time. Let's role play a little conversation for our listeners.
Sounds good. I will start. Hi, I'm Alex. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Alex. I'm Lana. Nice to meet you too.
So, Lana, what do you do for a living?
I work as a graphic designer. I work for a large marketing agency downtown. What about you?
Oh, interesting. I'm a software developer. I work for a tech company, but I work remotely most of the time.
That sounds nice. How long have you been doing that? Lana, breaking character. Stop there. That was a great question you just asked. How long have you been doing that?
Yes, this is the present perfect continuous tense. How long have you been working there? Or how long have you been doing that? It helps us understand if this is a new job or if the person has a lot of experience.
If I answer, I could say, I have been working there for 5 years.
Or I have been a graphic designer since 2018. Remember, listeners, use for with a number of years, for 5 years, and use since with a specific year or date, since 2018.
A great grammar tip, Alex. Now, let's talk about describing the job itself. When you tell people what you do, you usually talk about your duties or responsibilities.
Duties are the things you must do every day.
We often use the phrase, I am responsible for, or I have to.
For example, if I am a software developer, I can say, I am responsible for writing code and fixing bugs in the system.
Or if I am a graphic designer, I can say, I have to create logos and design websites for clients.
Notice that after responsible for, we use the verb with ing. Responsible for writing, responsible for managing, responsible for teaching.
Yes, that is a very common mistake. Don't say, I am responsible to write. Say, I am responsible for writing.
Let's list some common verbs we use when describing work duties.
Okay, manage is a big one. If you are a manager, you manage people or projects.
Deal with. This is a phrasal verb. It means to handle or take action. For example, I deal with customer complaints.
That sounds like a stressful job. Attending is another one. I attend meetings.
Organize. I organize events. Or prepare. I prepare reports.
These are all action verbs that help paint a picture of your day. Alex, what do you think is the most difficult part of describing a job in English?
I think it is explaining the specific details. It is easy to say, I am a doctor. It is harder to explain exactly what you do inside the hospital without using very difficult medical words.
That is true. My advice to our listeners is keep it simple. You don't need to use technical jargon.
Jargon means special words that only people in your job understand. When you talk to friends, try to use general English.
For example, instead of saying, I calibrate the carburetor on internal combustion engines, you can just say, I fix car engines.
Exactly. I fix cars is perfect. It is clear and everyone understands.
Let's talk a little bit about the environment we work in. Some people work indoors and some people work outdoors.
Indoor jobs are usually office jobs, retail shops, schools, or restaurants. You are inside a building.
Outdoor jobs are things like construction, farming, landscaping, or maybe a tour guide.
Working outdoors can be wonderful when the weather is nice, but when it is raining or snowing, it is very tough.
I definitely prefer indoor work. I like having air conditioning in the summer and heating in the winter.
Me too. I like to be comfortable. But my brother works in construction. He builds houses. He loves being outside. He says he cannot sit at a desk all day. He needs to move his body.
That makes sense. Some jobs are very physical. We call this manual labor. It means working with your hands and your body.
And other jobs are sedentary. That is a B2 word, maybe?
Yes, sedentary means you sit down a lot. You don't move much. Most office jobs are sedentary.
So if you have a sedentary job, you need to go to the gym after work.
That's right. You need to stay healthy.
Lana, let's talk about your colleagues, the people you work with.
We call them colleagues or coworkers. Both words are fine.
A boss is the person above you, the manager.
And if you are the boss, the people below you are your staff or your team.
Sometimes getting along with your coworkers is the most important part of the job. Even if the work is boring, if you have fun coworkers, the day goes fast.
I agree completely. A good team atmosphere makes a huge difference. We often say team player.
Yes, job ads always ask for a team player. This describes a person who works well with others. They are helpful and cooperative.
The opposite is someone who likes to work alone. We might call them an independent worker.
There is no right or wrong. Some jobs need team players, and some jobs need independent workers.
We have talked a lot about the basics, titles, places, and schedules. But what about the feelings about a job?
You mean, do you like your job or hate your job?
Yes, we need adjectives to describe the job.
Okay, if a job is good, we can say it is rewarding.
Rewarding means it makes you feel good inside. You feel like you're doing something useful. Teaching is often described as rewarding.
Or satisfying.
On the negative side, a job can be stressful
Or tiring. Or boring.
or demanding. Demanding means the job asks a lot from you. It takes a lot of energy and time. Being a CEO of a big company is very demanding. Being a parent is also a very demanding job.
The most demanding job in the world.
Let's expand on salary. This is a sensitive topic. In some cultures, it's okay to ask, how much money do you make? In other cultures, like in the US or UK, it is considered rude to ask that directly.
Very true. You should be careful asking about money. But we can talk about the vocabulary.
Your salary is the money you get paid, usually per year or per month.
If you are paid by the hour, we usually call it wages.
So a lawyer has a salary. A waiter might earn hourly wages.
And don't forget tips. In service jobs, like restaurants, customers give extra money for good service.
Bonus. Everyone loves a bonus. That is extra money you get, maybe at the end of the year, if you or the company did a good job.
Talking about money leads us to talk about promotion.
A promotion is when you move up to a higher position. You were a junior engineer, and now you're a senior engineer.
Usually, a promotion comes with a raise. A raise means an increase in salary.
I got a raise. That is a great sentence to say.
But sometimes people want to leave their job.
That is a big topic. Quitting, resigning, retiring.
Let's save the details of leaving a job for a bit later. I want to go back to the daily routine. When you arrive at work, what do you say?
You clock in or punch in. These are phrasal verbs. Clock in comes from old factories where you had to put a card in a clock. But we still use it today. What time did you clock in this morning?
I clocked in at 9 a.m. And when you leave?
You clock out.
We also simply say start work and finish work.
I get off work at 5. That is very common. What time do you get off?
To get off work. That is excellent natural English.
So, Alex, imagine you have a very busy day. You have a lot of tasks. We can say, I'm swamped.
Swamped. That means you are sinking in work. You have too much to do. I can't go to lunch today. I'm swamped.
Or I'm tied up.
Tied up means you are busy with something and you cannot leave. I'm tied up in a meeting.
These are great idioms for the workplace.
I think it is important to know how to say no politely at work too. If your boss asks you to do something but you have no time.
You can say, I would love to help, but my plate is full right now.
My plate is full. It means I have no space for more work. It is a polite way to say, I am too busy.
That is such a useful phrase. My plate is full. But Alex, what happens when your plate is full, but you have to keep working?
Then, unfortunately, you have to work overtime.
Overtime. That means working extra hours. If you usually finish at 5 p.m., but you stay until 8 p.m., you are working overtime.
Do you get paid for overtime?
It depends on your contract. Some people get overtime pay, which is extra money. Sometimes it is time and a half, which means you get your normal money plus 50% more. But many office workers on a salary do not get extra money. They just have to finish the work.
That is tough. We often do this because of a deadline.
A deadline. That is a very serious word. It is the final date or time when a task must be finished.
For example, the deadline for this report is Friday at noon. If you don't finish by Friday at noon, you are in trouble.
Deadlines can be very stressful. If you have tight deadlines, you might burn out.
Burnout. This is a phrasal verb, but we also use it as a noun, burnout. It means you have worked so hard that you are completely exhausted. You have no energy left. You are mentally and physically tired.
Yes, it is like a candle. When the fire burns all the wax, the candle goes out. It is finished. People are the same. If you work too much without rest, you burn out.
To avoid burnout, we talk about work-life balance.
Work-life balance is the relationship between the time you spend working and the time you spend with your family, friends, or hobbies.
If you work 12 hours a day and never see your friends, you have a poor work-life balance.
But if you work 8 hours, then go to the gym, eat dinner with your family, and sleep well, you have a healthy work-life balance.
Part of having a good balance is taking time off. Let's talk about the different types of leave.
Leave here means time away from work. The most common is annual leave.
In the UK, they often call it holiday. In the USA, they call it vacation. But in HR language, it is often called annual leave.
How many days of annual leave do you get, Alex?
I get about 20 days a year, plus public holidays.
That's pretty good. There is also sick leave. This is when you are ill and cannot work.
If you wake up with a fever, you have to call in sick.
To call in sick, that is the phrase. It means you telephone or message your boss to say you are not coming.
There is also maternity leave for mothers who just had a baby and paternity leave for fathers.
This is very important for families. Now, Alex, when we are actually at work, we spend a lot of time communicating, especially in meetings.
Oh, I dread meetings sometimes. To dread means to fear something or not look forward to it.
Why do you dread them?
Because sometimes they are too long. But let's look at the vocabulary. To organize a meeting, we say schedule a meeting or set up a meeting.
And if you can't go?
You can cancel the meeting, which means it will not happen, or you can postpone the meeting.
Postpone. That is a good B1 verb. It means to delay it, to move it to a later time or date. You can also use the phrasal verb put off. Let's put off the meeting until next week. It means the same as postpone.
You can also use the phrasal verb put off. Let's put off the meeting until next week. It means the same as postpone.
During a meeting, we usually have an agenda. An agenda is a list of things to talk about. It helps the meeting stay focused.
And someone usually takes minutes.
Careful here, listeners. We aren't talking about time, like 60 seconds. The minutes, always plural, are the written notes of what was said in the meeting.
So if Lana says, Alex, can you take the minutes? She's asking me to write down the important points.
We also have chairing a meeting. To chair a meeting is to lead it. You are the leader. You decide who speaks.
In recent years, many meetings are online. We use Zoom, Teams, or Skype. We call these virtual meetings or video conferences.
And we have a whole new set of phrases for this. The most famous one is, you're on mute.
Yes, you talk and talk, but nobody can hear you because your microphone is off. Alex, unmute yourself.
Or, can you see my screen? People say this when they are screen sharing to show a presentation.
Technology is great, but sometimes it causes technical difficulties. My internet is unstable or you're breaking up.
Breaking up means the audio is cutting in and out. I can hear parts of words, but not whole sentences.
Besides meetings, we write a lot of emails. Writing business emails is a skill. It is different from texting a friend.
Very different. You need to be formal or semi-formal. You usually start with dear, name, or just hi name, depending on how well you know them.
And you end with best regards, sincerely, or just thanks.
There are some specific verbs for email too. Attach.
I have attached the file, or please find the report in the attachment. This refers to the document you send with the email.
And CC. This stands for carbon copy. It means you send the email to one person, but you want another person to see it too. I will CC you on that email.
And forward. To forward an email means to send an email you received to a new person.
I will forward you the details.
These are words used in offices every single day.
Let's shift gears a little bit, Alex. We talked about the daily job, but how do people get these jobs? We need to talk about education and background.
Good idea. When you meet someone, you might ask, "What is your background?" This usually means, "What did you study?" or "What is your work history?"
Let's start with university. In English, we talk about our degree.
A bachelor's degree is the standard 3 or 4 year university course.
A master's degree is extra study after that, and a PhD is the highest level.
We also talk about our major. Your major is your main subject.
So I can ask, what did you major in?
And you could answer, "I majored in economics," or "I have a degree in biology."
Sometimes before you get a real job, you do an internship.
An internship is a short period of work experience. Usually it's for students or recent graduates.
Sometimes it's paid, and sometimes it's unpaid.
Unpaid internships are controversial. It means you work for free to get experience.
But that experience is very valuable. Employers always look for experience on a CV.
A CV or resume. In the UK and Europe, we usually say CV, curriculum vitae. In the USA, they usually say resume. It is the document that lists your skills and history.
Speaking of skills, we divide them into two categories: hard skills and soft skills.
This is an interesting concept. Hard skills are technical things you can learn and measure.
For example,
Speaking Spanish, computer programming, operating a forklift, accounting, graphic design. These are hard skills. You can take a test to prove you have them.
and soft skills.
Soft skills are about your personality and how you work with people.
Things like communication, leadership, problem solving, time management, and teamwork.
Exactly. You can't easily test these, but they are super important. Many bosses say they hire for attitude and train for skill.
That is very true. You can teach someone how to use software, but it is hard to teach someone how to be nice.
Lana, let's do another role play. This time, let's talk about our history. I will interview you a little bit.
Okay, I am ready.
So, Lana, I see from your CV that you have a background in marketing.
Yes, that's right. I have a bachelor's degree in marketing from London University. I graduated in 2015.
And where did you work before this job?
Well, after I graduated, I did a 6-month internship at a fashion magazine. It was a great learning experience. After that, I got a full-time job as a junior marketer at a small agency.
Stop there. Notice the words used: graduated, internship, full-time, junior.
Usually, junior means you are new or have low responsibility. The opposite is senior. A senior marketer has lots of experience.
And notice I said I graduated in 2015. Use in for the year.
And you said, I have a degree in marketing. Lots of prepositions today.
Prepositions are the glue that holds English together.
Lana, what about people who don't go to university?
That is a very large group of people. Not every job needs a degree. Many jobs require vocational training.
Vocational means related to a specific trade or skill, like being a plumber, an electrician, a mechanic, or a chef.
For these jobs, you often do an apprenticeship.
An apprentice is someone who learns by doing the job alongside an expert. They work and learn at the same time.
An apprenticeship can take 3 or 4 years. When you finish, you are qualified.
Qualified means you have the official paper or license to do the job. You are a qualified electrician.
These are often called blue-collar jobs.
And office jobs are called white-collar jobs.
These terms come from the color of the shirts people used to wear. Office workers wore white shirts, and factory workers wore blue shirts to hide the dirt.
We don't use these terms as much as we used to, but you will still hear them in the news or in business articles.
There is also the gig economy. This is new.
Gig usually means a musical performance, like a band playing a gig. But now, gig economy means people who do short term jobs, like Uber drivers or food delivery riders.
They are not employees, they are freelancers or contractors.
A freelancer is someone who works for themselves. They have many different clients.
I have a friend who is a freelance writer. She writes articles for 5 different websites. She is her own boss.
That sounds like freedom, but the downside is instability.
Instability means it is not stable. Some months she makes a lot of money, some months she makes zero money.
That can be very scary. You need to be good at saving money if you are a freelancer.
We mentioned retiring briefly in the last part, but let's define it properly.
To retire is to stop working completely, usually because of age. In many countries, people retire around 65 years old.
And then they receive a pension. A pension is money paid to retired people, either by the government or their old company.
My dream is to retire early and travel the world.
That is a good dream, Lana. But before we retire, we usually change jobs a few times.
Yes, it is rare now to stay in one job for 40 years. Most people change their career path.
A career path is the direction your working life takes. Maybe you start in sales, then move to marketing, then become a manager.
Sometimes people do a career change. They completely change what they do. Maybe a lawyer decides to become a baker.
That is a big change. But it happens. People realize they are unhappy, so they start over.
And when you leave a job to go to a new one, you have to resign.
I resign. It is a formal verb. Informal is quit. I quit my job.
When you resign, you usually give notice.
Notice is a warning. I am giving my 2 weeks notice. It means I am leaving in 2 weeks.
It is polite to give notice so the company can find a new person to replace you.
And you might have to help train your replacement.
That can be awkward. Teaching the person who will take your desk.
But it is professional. You want to leave on good terms. You don't want to burn bridges.
Ooh, that is a fantastic idiom. Burn bridges. It means to destroy a relationship so you can never go back. If you scream at your boss and throw coffee on the floor when you quit, you are burning bridges.
Yes, definitely. You will never get a job there again. And they will not give you a good reference.
A reference is a recommendation letter from a past employer. You need good references to get a new job.
So always be polite, even when you're leaving.
Exactly. The professional world is small. People talk.
We have covered so much vocabulary about the structure of work. But what about the process of actually getting the job? The scary part.
The job interview.
Yes.
I think that deserves a lot of attention. There are so many specific questions and answers we need to learn for interviews.
I agree. It's the most high-pressure situation in English for many of our listeners.
You have to sell yourself. You have to be confident.
And you have to understand what the interviewer is really asking. Sometimes the question is simple, like, tell me about yourself. But the answer needs to be structured carefully.
Or the dreaded question, what is your greatest weakness?
I hate that question. I work too hard.
That is a terrible answer. Don't say that. We will teach you better answers.
We should also talk about where to look for jobs. Job hunting.
Yes, Job hunting is the process of looking for a job. We use job boards, LinkedIn, and networking.
Networking. That's a key business word. It isn't just about computers. It means meeting people and making connections that can help your career.
Like we said, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Another famous saying. It means your connections are sometimes more important than your knowledge.
Exactly. Networking is about building relationships. But let's be honest, most people start their job search online.
True. We call this online job hunting. You go to websites like LinkedIn, Indeed, or Monster. These are called job boards.
On these websites, companies post job listings or job ads.
When a company needs a new person, we say they have a vacancy or an opening.
We have an opening in our sales department. That means there's an empty desk waiting for someone.
When you look at a job listing, you will see two very important sections: responsibilities and requirements.
We talked about responsibilities earlier. That is what you do every day. But requirements are what you need to have.
Usually, they list education, years of experience, and specific skills.
You have to be careful reading this. Sometimes it says required, which means you must have it.
And sometimes it says preferred or desirable.
Preferred means it is a bonus. If you have it, great. If you don't have it, you can still apply.
A lot of people are scared to apply if they don't have 100% of the requirements.
My advice? If you have 60 or 70% of the requirements, you should apply. You never know.
That is good advice. So, you find a job listing you like, you have your CV ready. Now you need to fill out the application.
Fill out is a phrasal verb. It means to complete a form. You fill out your name, address, and history.
And often you need to send a cover letter.
Many people hate writing cover letters. A cover letter is a short letter that introduces you. It explains why you want this specific job.
A big mistake people make is sending the same generic cover letter to every company.
No, no, no. You must tailor it, like a suit. You tailor the letter to fit the company. Mention the company name. Mention why you like them.
Okay, so you sent your CV and your cover letter. You pressed submit. Now what?
Now you wait and you hope for a callback.
If the company likes your application, they will invite you for an interview. This is the most exciting and scary part.
Before the interview, you must do your homework.
You mean study?
Yes, research the company. Go to their website. Read their About Us page. What do they sell? Who are their clients? What is their mission?
If you go to an interview and you don't know what the company does, you will look very bad.
You also need to prepare your outfit. First impressions are important,
Even for a Zoom interview?
especially for a Zoom interview. Wear a nice shirt. You can wear pajama pants on the bottom if nobody sees them, but you must look professional on camera.
I have definitely done that. Okay, let's get into the interview itself. The person asking the questions is the interviewer or the hiring manager.
And you are the candidate or the applicant.
There are some questions that appear in almost every interview. We call these common interview questions.
Let's practice them. I will be the interviewer and you be the candidate, Alex.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm nervous, but ready.
Good morning, Alex. Thank you for coming in today. Let's start with an easy one. Tell me about yourself.
Well, I am a software engineer with 5 years of experience. Currently, I work for a small tech startup where I lead a team of 3 developers. Before that, I studied computer science at university. I am looking for a new challenge where I can work on larger projects.
That was excellent, Alex. Listeners, did you hear the structure he used?
I call it the present, past, future formula.
Yes. First, say what you are doing now. Present. I'm a software engineer.
Then mention a little bit of your history, past. Before that, I studied computer science.
And finally, say why you are here. Future. I am looking for a new challenge.
This keeps the answer short and professional. You don't need to say, I was born in a small town and I have 2 cats.
Exactly. Keep it relevant to the job. Okay, ready for the next question?
Ready.
Alex, why do you want to work for this company?
I have followed your company for a long time. I really admire your commitment to sustainability. I saw that you recently launched a new green energy project, and I would love to contribute to that mission.
Perfect. You showed you did your research.
Yes, I mentioned a specific project, green energy. This proves I know who they are.
Never just say, I need a job or the salary is good. That is honest, but it is not a good answer for an interview.
Okay, Lana, now it is my turn to ask you. I am the hiring manager.
Okay, I am the candidate.
Lana, what are your greatest strengths?
I think my greatest strength is my organization. In my last job, I had to manage 5 different clients at the same time. I created a new scheduling system that helped the whole team save time. I'm also very communicative. I believe in keeping everyone updated so there are no surprises.
Very strong answer. You didn't just give a list of adjectives.
Right. I didn't just say I am organized and communicative. Anyone can say that.
You gave an example. I created a new scheduling system.
Always back up your claims with evidence. Give a specific example of a time you used that skill.
We often use the STAR method for these stories. Situation, task, action, result.
That sounds complicated, but it's simple. What was the problem? What did you do? What was the happy ending?
Okay, here comes the hard one. The one everyone fears.
I'm ready.
Lana, what is your greatest weakness?
To be honest, sometimes I struggle with public speaking. I get very nervous presenting to large groups. However, I am working on this. I recently joined a club to practice speaking, and I volunteered to give small updates in our weekly team meetings to build my confidence.
That is the perfect way to answer.
Thank you. The trick is to be honest, but not too honest.
Don't say, I am lazy, or I'm always late. Those are bad weaknesses.
Choose a real weakness, but, and this is the most important part, explain how you're fixing it.
Yes, use the word however. I struggle with X, however, I am doing Y to improve.
This shows you have self-awareness and a growth mindset.
Growth mindset means you believe you can learn and get better. Employers love that.
Another common question is, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
This question checks your ambition. They want to know if you plan to stay with the company.
A good answer is something like, I hope to grow with this company and perhaps lead a team or manage larger projects.
It shows you want to stay and be useful to them.
Now, at the end of the interviewer will always ask, do you have any questions for us?
Never say no.
Never. If you say, no, I have no questions, it looks like you are not interested.
Always have 1 or 2 questions prepared.
You can ask, what does a typical day look like in this role?
That is a great question. Or, what is the company culture like?
Or, what are the next steps in the interview process?
That is a very practical question. It asks when they will call you back.
So, the interview is finished. You shake hands or wave if it is Zoom, and you say goodbye. Are you done?
Not yet. You should send a thank you email.
Yes,
Send it the same day or the next morning. Keep it short. Thank you for your time. I enjoyed learning about the role. I look forward to hearing from you.
It shows good manners. It keeps your name in their mind.
Then comes the waiting game. This is the hardest part.
Sometimes they call you in 2 days, sometimes 2 weeks.
And then you get the news. Ideally, it is a job offer.
We would like to offer you the position, the best sentence in the world.
But sometimes it is a rejection.
We regret to inform you that we have chosen another candidate.
That hurts. We call this getting turned down.
Rejection is normal. It happens to everyone. Even the most successful people have been rejected many times.
You just have to keep going. Pick yourself up, improve your CV, and apply for the next one.
But let's imagine you got the job. You got the offer. Now you have to discuss the details. This is called negotiation.
Many people are afraid to negotiate. They just accept the first salary the company offers.
But usually there's room to negotiate. You can ask for a little more money or more vacation days.
You can say, I am very excited about the offer. Is there any flexibility regarding the salary?
Flexibility. That is a polite word. It is not demanding. It is asking for a discussion.
Once you sign the contract, you are officially hired.
Then begins the onboarding process.
Onboarding is the first few weeks at a new job. It is when you learn the rules, get your computer, meet the team, and fill out the paperwork.
It is also called induction. You might have an induction day.
During onboarding, you often have a probation period.
Probation usually lasts 3 or 6 months. It's like a trial run. The company watches you closely to see if you are good for the job.
If you pass probation, you become a permanent employee.
That sounds very secure.
It is. You have job security.
You know, Lana, we have talked about traditional jobs a lot. But we should mention that the English you use at work changes depending on who you are talking to.
That's right. We have formal and informal registers.
Register here means the level of formality.
When you speak to clients or your boss, you use a formal register. Use polite words. Could you please? I would appreciate it if.
But when you are in the break room having coffee with your team, you use an informal register.
Hey, can you pass the sugar? Did you see the game last night?
Mixing these up can be awkward. If you are too formal with your friends, you seem cold. If you are too informal with a client, you seem rude.
It's a skill called code switching, changing how you speak based on the situation.
As language learners, it is safer to be a little too formal than too informal.
I agree. Could you help me is always better than help me.
Let's talk about some idioms related to working hard. We mentioned burning the candle at both ends earlier.
Another one is pull your weight.
If someone is not pulling their weight, it means they are not doing their share of the work. They're being lazy, and other people have to work harder.
We need everyone to pull their weight on this project.
And go the extra mile.
This is a positive one. To go the extra mile means to do more than is expected. You make a special effort to do a great job.
Lana always goes the extra mile for her customers. That is a great compliment.
And cut corners.
That is negative. To cut corners means to do a job quickly and cheaply, but the quality is bad. You skipped important steps to save time.
Don't cut corners on safety. That is very important.
Another one I hear a lot is get the ball rolling.
That just means to start something, to begin a project. Let's have a meeting to get the ball rolling.
And when you're learning a new job, you're learning the ropes.
This comes from sailing ships. Sailors had to learn which rope did what. Now it means learning the basics of how to do a job.
Please be patient with me. I'm still learning the ropes. This is a great sentence for your first week at a new job.
It tells people you're trying, but you don't know everything yet.
I think it's important to admit when you don't know something.
Absolutely. It's better to ask for help than to pretend you know and make a big mistake.
We can say, could you walk me through this?
Walk me through. That is a phrasal verb, meaning explain it to me step by step.
Could you walk me through the software? I haven't used it before.
Or run it by me.
Run it by me usually means tell me your idea so I can check it.
I have an idea for the marketing campaign. Can I run it by you?
These little phrases make you sound so natural in an English-speaking office.
They really do. You sound less like a textbook and more like a colleague.
We also have office politics.
Oh, the drama. Office politics refers to the relationships and power struggles between people in the office.
Trying to get a promotion, trying to please the boss, gossiping.
It's best to stay out of office politics if you can. Focus on your work.
But sometimes you hear things through the grapevine.
Through the grapevine. That is an idiom, meaning you heard a rumor. You didn't hear it officially. You heard it from a friend of a friend.
I heard through the grapevine that the manager is leaving.
But remember, rumors are often wrong.
Very true. Stick to the official announcements.
Speaking of announcements, sometimes companies go through restructuring.
This is a polite corporate word for big changes. Sometimes it means people lose their jobs.
We call that being laid off or made redundant.
This is different from being fired.
Yes, big difference. If you are fired or sacked, it's because you did something bad. You stole money or you never did your work. It's your fault.
But if you are laid off, it's not your fault. The company has no money or they're closing that department.
It's a sad situation, but it's important to know the difference. If you are laid off, you can tell your next employer, my role was made redundant. It sounds professional.
If you say, I was fired, the new employer will be worried about hiring you.
We are covering some serious topics here, but work is a serious part of life.
It's where we spend most of our time.
Before we move to the final section, let's talk about feedback.
Feedback is information about how you're doing. It can be positive feedback or constructive feedback.
We don't usually say negative feedback in business. We say constructive criticism or areas for improvement.
It sounds nicer. It means you're doing this wrong, but here's how you can do it better.
You usually get feedback during a performance review or appraisal.
This is a meeting once a year with your boss to talk about your progress.
It's the time to ask for that raise we talked about.
Yes, bring your list of achievements. Show them why you deserve it.
So, Lana, we have found the job, interviewed, got hired, learned the ropes, and even asked for a raise.
We're doing well, but there is one more big area we haven't touched on deeply yet.
What is that?
The social side of work, small talk, the water cooler moments.
Ah, yes, water cooler chat. This is the conversation you have when you're taking a break. You're not talking about work. You're talking about life.
This is actually where you build the best relationships with your colleagues.
But for English learners, this can be the hardest part. It's fast, it uses slang, and it's about culture.
Exactly. When the meeting ends, everyone relaxes and starts joking.
We need to give our listeners some tools to survive the water cooler.
So, let's give our listeners a survival guide for the water cooler. What are safe topics to talk about with colleagues?
The number one safe topic is the weekend.
It works every time. On Monday, you ask, "How was your weekend?" On Friday, you ask, "Do you have any plans for the weekend?"
It is simple but effective. It shows you are friendly.
What if the person says, "It was okay, I just stayed home"?
You can ask a follow-up question. Did you watch any good movies? Or did you catch up on any sleep?
Other safe topics are weather, classic British topic, food, have you tried that new lunch place, and travel.
Sports are usually safe too. Did you see the game last night? Is a very common question in many offices.
But Lana, what are the unsafe topics? The topics we should avoid?
We call these taboo topics. In a professional environment, especially in English-speaking countries, you should avoid talking about politics and religion.
These topics can start arguments. You want to keep the office peaceful.
Also, be careful talking about personal money or health problems. It can make people uncomfortable.
So, keep it light. Keep it positive.
Exactly. This is all about building rapport.
Rapport is a French word we use in English. It means a good connection or relationship. You want to have good rapport with your team.
Sometimes companies organize events to help build this rapport. We call these team building events.
Ah, yes. Sometimes this is a nice dinner. Sometimes it is something active like bowling or going to an escape room.
The idea is to have fun together outside of the office so you work better together inside the office.
There is also the office party, usually around December for the holidays.
A word of warning for office parties. Even though it is a party, you are still at work.
Yes, don't drink too much, don't dance on the tables. You have to see these people on Monday morning.
Stay professional, even when you're having fun.
Now let's talk about business travel. This is when you leave your city for work.
You might go to a conference. A conference is a large meeting with people from many companies in your industry.
Or a trade show, where companies show their new products.
When you travel for work, the company usually pays for your expenses.
Expenses are the costs, the flight ticket, the hotel, the taxi, and the food.
You usually have to keep the receipts.
A receipt is the small piece of paper you get when you pay for something. You give the receipts to your boss, and they give you the money back. We call this reimbursement.
I need to submit my expenses for reimbursement.
That is a very complex B2-C1 sentence.
Let's break it down. Submit means to hand in. Reimbursement means paying you back.
Traveling for work sounds glamorous, but it can be tiring. You might suffer from jet lag.
Jet lag is when your body is confused about the time because you flew to a different time zone. You want to sleep in the middle of the day.
But you have to stay awake for the meeting with the client.
That is the hard part. Speaking of learning new things, let's talk about professional development.
This means continuing to learn while you have a job.
Good companies want you to learn. They might send you to a workshop or a seminar.
A workshop is a class where you practice a skill. Maybe a coding workshop or a public speaking workshop.
Or they might offer mentorship.
We mentioned this briefly before. A mentor is an experienced person who guides you. A mentee is the person learning.
Having a mentor is great for your career. They can give you advice that you can't find in books.
Also, we talk about upskilling. This is a trendy word right now.
Upskilling means learning new skills so you can do a better job or get a promotion. For example, a marketer learning how to use artificial intelligence.
Which brings us to the future. The world of work is changing fast.
It really is. We are seeing more automation, machines doing work that humans used to do.
This scares some people, but it also creates new jobs.
We are also hearing about the 4-day work week. Some countries are testing working Monday to Thursday and having Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off.
I would love that. Same salary, less time?
Usually, yes. The idea is that if you are well rested, you work harder in those 4 days. You are more productive.
Productive means you produce a lot. You get a lot done.
So, Alex, we have covered so much today. From answering what do you do to negotiating a salary and office small talk.
Let's do one final role play, a mix of everything. Imagine we are colleagues. It's Monday morning, we're at the coffee machine.
Okay, action.
Morning, Lana. How are things?
Hey, Alex, not too bad. A bit tired. How was your weekend?
Not too bad.
Notice, not too bad. This is a very standard English answer. It means good.
Actor. My weekend was great, thanks. I went hiking with some friends. What about you? Did you do anything special?
I actually went to a pottery workshop. It was my first time. I made a very ugly bowl.
That sounds fun, though. Hey, are you ready for the big meeting with the client this afternoon?
Almost. I'm just finishing up the presentation slides. I wanted to run them by you later if you have a minute.
Sure. My plate is a bit full this morning, but I should be free after lunch. Maybe around 1 p.m.
That works for me. I'll send you a calendar invite.
Great. Oh, by the way, did you hear about the new coffee machine they're getting for the break room?
No, really?
Yes, I heard it through the grapevine. Apparently, it makes cappuccinos.
Finally! That will definitely help with productivity. All right, I'd better get back to my desk. See you at 1 o'clock.
See you then.
And cut. That was a very natural conversation.
We used small talk, weekend, work talk, meeting, presentation, idioms, run it by you, plate is full, through the grapevine, and business vocabulary, calendar invite.
If our listeners can have a conversation like that, they will do very well in an English-speaking workplace.
I agree. Lana, before we finish, do you have any final advice for our listeners who are learning business English?
My advice is don't be afraid to make mistakes,
That is good advice for all language learning.
but especially at work. If you don't understand what your boss said, ask. It is much better to say, "I'm sorry, could you repeat that?" than to guess and do the wrong thing.
Absolutely. Use phrases like, just to clarify, or do you mean?
Just to clarify, that is a power phrase. It means, I want to make sure I understand perfectly.
And my advice is listen. Listen to how your colleagues speak. Do they use formal words? Do they use slang? Copy them.
Mimicking is a great way to learn.
Also, remember that English is the global language of business. Many people you speak to will also be non-native speakers.
That is a great point. You don't need to sound like a native speaker from London or New York. You just need to be clear. Communication is the goal.
not perfection.
Exactly. Be clear, be polite, and be professional.
Well, Alex, I think we have done a good day's work here.
I think so too. We have definitely earned our keep today.
Earn your keep. That means we did enough work to deserve our pay.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into job and work vocabulary.
We hope this helps you describe your job, find a new job, or just chat with your coworkers.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to English Daily Practice and leave us a comment. Tell us, what do you do?
Yes, practice your new vocabulary in the comments. Write, I work as a, or I am responsible for. We would love to read them.
And if you want the full transcript of this conversation to study the spelling of these words, check the description box.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Good luck with your English practice.
See you next time.
Bye.